ExperiCo is a private R&D company. We specialize in post-harvest, and we have an alliance with Hortgrow to service them as a specialist center of excellence in that area. ExperiCo works mainly in deciduous fruit. We work with apples, pears, stone fruit, grapes. So we service the industry in many ways, looking at fruit quality in particular, and looking at ways in which we can improve that for the consumer and for different clients. You know, people think that fruit comes off a tree and they eat it immediately, but fruit generally comes off and has to be stored for up to 12 months before the consumer gets it, so that you have an all-round supply of fruit. And from that point on, certain storage regimes, certain ways in which you treat and handle the fruit need to be done in order to give that fruit to the consumer in the best possible eating conditions. And that's where we come in. We look at ways to prolong the storage, to maintain the eating quality through a shelf life, and even to give the consumer that extra bit of quality that they wouldn't normally get. Every country has got a set of standards, and it's important for us to maintain that fruit standard. So when we harvest fruit and a fruit is packed, it gets graded according to those standards. Forelle is a particular example where research has certainly come to the party. Now, unfortunately, Forelle, if you pick it straight away and you try and eat it, it has a problem in that it becomes mealy. And because of that, research has shown that it requires 12 weeks of cold storage in order to get a good quality pear. Forelle have got a mandatory 12-week cold storage period before we can sell the fruit. And this results in a gap in our bicolor pear supply. And that's where ExperiCo came in. We were asked to try and bridge this gap to try and get a good eating quality Forelle pear on the market. So what we did is we decided to try a new approach, and that was to market a pear that is crisp and sweet, and instead of becoming juicy, eats like an apple. And I think, you know, the program, which we now call the FEMA program, or the Forelle Early Market Access program, has been a great success. In simple terms, what we do is we just keep the fruit on the tree until they are almost eating ripe, and that normally is about 2 to 3 weeks after the normal harvest period. And then the fruit have got a high sugar level, and they are able to be harvested, packed and shipped and sold immediately. We prevent the ripening by applying an ethylene inhibitor that basically prevents the fruit from moving forward in its ripening process. So after we've shipped it and it's arrived on the other side, it can be sold immediately, but as a crisp and sweet pear rather than a juicy and sweet pear. And so we had to do certain consumer tests in different countries, and we found that certain consumers prefer different types of eating concepts. And what we had to do is we had to put on each and every fruit a little label that said crisp and sweet, and that gave the consumer an indication of what to expect. And so not only did we manage to give a new eating quality or a new eating concept into the European market, we were able to open up new markets which we previously hadn't really explored. What we did is every year we've looked at the program, and it's grown from the first year where about 300,000 cartons were exported, and to now, about 4 years later, we are approaching the 2 million carton mark in this program. And the amazing thing about this program is it's prevented marketing peaks. And what we found was that initially, before this program, after the 12-week mandatory cold storage period, there was a glut of these pears hitting the market, which then compromised the price. But through this program, we could now start the sales earlier and maintain a constant flow without any peaks, which maintained a higher average price over the whole Forelle season.